With Kenny Omega worried about his career coming to an end and Jeff Hardy confirming his move to AEW, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for February 24th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Despite initially appearing in WWE as Derek Bateman and getting released, EC3 would eventually make his return to the promotion before being let go again. On the Ring of Wrestling podcast, EC3 gave his reason for coming back to the promotion. I would have loved to be in the ring with John Cena and Randy Orton. That's the only reason I came back, because I remember seeing that promo between Roman and Cena before Cena left for a good while. I knew how John worked. He's very much in the moment. They're not writing for him. Speaking from here, I'm like, God, if this was me, this would be electric, because I kind of worked the same way, but it wasn't, and it was good, but that's what made me want. I've got to give it a shot to go back and do that. That never happened. Now, maybe, because seeing Control Your Narrative's not really a wrestling promotion, maybe call the Peacemaker's agent, have him come down to the narrative, and I could kick his ass. What a great show. Since leaving this time around, EC3 has started Free the Narrative and is working to build that brand alongside former WWE star Braun Strowman. Recalling their time in WWE and short-lived tandem with Randy Orton, Dax Harwood of FTR revealed on the sessions that he and Cash Wheeler are grateful for Orton fighting for them in the company. I will go on record and say that there was no one else who fought harder for us than Randy. Maybe Roman, it was a close second. But Randy fought super hard for us. The whole FTRKO thing was not supposed to be a thing, but it worked. We worked together, and so we worked through house shows together, and he was so impressed with myself and Cash and being able to call stuff in the ring, and we got along on the tour buses and stuff, and it was just easy. Dax would go on to mention that he and Cash signed over many trademarks to get out of WWE sooner. Money is incredible. When I talked to my grandma and I was telling her my issues, I'm not happy, but the money is great. Her exact words to me were, how much money do you really need? That was such an eye-opening experience to me. I'm college educated, 2 degrees. Yeah, you're exactly right. It sounds like I'm bitter, but I'm not at all. We just weren't happy. Not just us, but they weren't giving any of the tag teams the opportunity that we thought it deserved. We knew we would be stuck at a certain position if we stayed there. For years and years, I've prayed every night to be a professional wrestler and to take it very seriously. Knowing they weren't going to give us the opportunities that we thought we deserved, we had to get out of there. We talked about it and they kept throwing more money at us and more money. I called my wife and told her this is the amount of money they offered us. I don't think we're going to take it. She said no money is worth your happiness. Do what you want. We went back and told them no. My wife was having health problems, so I told them that not only do I not want to stay, I want to be home more with my wife. This is before the pandemic. The pandemic hit. They called us. They said, we know you want out. Your contracts are up in 2 months. They were going to extend your contract because of your injury until August, but the out is all these trademarks you have, sign them over to us and we will let you have your release. No 90 days. I won't give it to you today. We spent like 10 to 20,000 on trademarks. Stuff that we came up with, not them. But we wanted out so bad and we're so unhappy, just let them have it. It's just money. We called back and said, you can have all the trademarks, just please give us a release. And they did. With all their matches throughout their feud receiving praise from backstage officials, Bianca Belair told WrestleTalk how special it was to hit Doudrop with the KOD. I love to get in the ring with Doudrop. I love that feud too because I feel like I got to show a different side of me. I'm used to being the person in there that's the bigger person and stronger and tougher, but Doudrop, she's a strong competitor, so I got to show more of my athleticism with her, but to be able to finally KOD her after she had been running from me week after week, I feel like that was a special moment there, and I really wanted to prove that I was the strongest. I train all the time for it, and it was just my moment to prove it in that moment. Talking about her journey in WWE, Rhea Ripley noted while speaking to Mark Andrews that she was nearly cut by the company when she was on NXT. A lot of things really. It was sort of the whole year between the Mae Young Classic 1 and 2. I went through a lot mentally behind the scenes. I was having troubles at home. I was having troubles at work. I hated myself. I was very mentally weak at that time. I just didn't feel like I was good enough. I was constantly being told that I wasn't good enough and I had to do something to improve it. I was on the chopping block a couple times and nearly got booted. I just had a lot going on and I was very down. I want to say, at that 6-month period, I was like, you know what? Stop this. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. All they're going to do is judge me anyway. I had to change my mental game completely. I started going to a gym, which is the first gym I've ever signed up for. I was terrified. I don't like being around people, so I was absolutely terrified. We have this thing called car wash where you take photos and videos leading up to the Mae Young Classic so we can get all the footage we need. I rocked up in this new gear. I got my hair cut, of course. Every one of the coaches were like, what's this? I said, the new Rhea Ripley. They were like, okay. I knew that okay was like, this is your ass. If it doesn't work, I didn't care. This was my one shot. This was my one opportunity that I have to take and I have to do it my way. If it works, and I can shove it in their faces. If it doesn't, then I'll leave myself. A potential return has been rumored for Stone Cold Steve Austin, as it seems he could be gearing up for a WrestleMania feud against Kevin Owens. According to Dave Meltzer, Austin was going to make an in-ring comeback in 2005, with it revealed in the Wrestling Observer that Austin was set to lose the match to Jonathan Coachman. Over the years, he had considered and talked of wrestling again. In those years, he said it would take him a good 6 months to prepare to do so. In 2005, he was called for the Taboo Tuesday show to do a gimmick match with Jonathan Coachman, with the stipulation that if he won, Jim Ross would get his Raw lead announcing job back, but if he lost, Ross would lose his job. Austin was going to be booked to lose the match, and before the match, claimed a back injury and didn't appear. Given the news of Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, fans are certain he will be making the move back to WWE. Speaking about this on his podcast, Ric Flair noted that WWE will be more than happy bringing back Cody. I'm sure they'll welcome him with open arms. There's no way it couldn't be a good move for him. He made himself on his own. Then he went to work with AEW, made himself even bigger, and then why not bring back Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty Rhodes? It's huge. After coming up short in her Raw Women's title bout against Becky Lynch, Lita told Metro that she'd love to continue her feud with Charlotte Flair. I had fun being in there with Shotzi. Think that would be cool to do something again. I was really impressed with Rhea Ripley. I'd love to do something with her. Of course, pick up where I left off with Charlotte Flair. I think I would be lucky to step in with any of those women on the roster. There are some standouts. Bianca Belair is an incredible athlete. And you know what? Natty's been there, tried and true. I'd love to be in the ring with her as well. While they were originally set to face off at last year's WrestleMania, Goldberg and Roman Reigns would finally do battle for Elimination Chamber. Of course, Reigns would come out on top and retain his Universal title, but Goldberg revealed on the CarCast that he had to recover from COVID to get ready for this match. Roman is a great dude. It would have been nice for me to do it in my 40s, but I had to do it at 55. I think they planned it out so he had more of an opportunity to beat me. Let's be perfectly honest. I would have squashed him 15 years ago, but now it's a different story. I'm 55. I do 2 matches a year. What am I going to do? Come in one of the bigger pay-per-views and I'm going to beat the Universal Champion and take the belt home for 6 months and come back? I don't write the script. I just kind of follow it. One of the reasons I came back is to give back to the business. If I can set Roman up and make him look like $1 million going into WrestleMania against Brock, that's my job. I'm behind the 8 ball. Not only do a plethora of people understand what the outcome will most likely be, but I obviously have an extremely short period of time to get ready for it. I hadn't trained for 3 months. I had COVID when I got the phone call to go. I literally had 2 weeks in the gym to get ready for this. What people don't understand, and it will come out in the documentary, is it's tough to do that as a 20-year-old. It's more difficult as a 30-year-old. A 40-year-old, it's almost impossible. A 55-year-old. I'm one of the 0.003% of humans on the planet that can pull something like that off. With him on the sidelines recovering from injuries, former AEW champion Kenny Omega revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio that he is anxious about his pro wrestling career coming to an end. I'm always thinking about it, especially now because you see how fragile everything is and how it could end. I don't necessarily mean from a personal standpoint. I could be injured and it's over, or one of the procedures could go wrong. They have to give me the bad news. You'll never be the same and you can't be the person you want to be in the ring, or wake me up tomorrow and everything digital has been hacked and there's an alien life form and there is no way for material to get out there. It could happen. Who knows? It could all end. Go out of our control. Sorry guys, AEW isn't a thing. All wrestling isn't a thing. What is that I do? After a shocking release from WWE, Jeff Hardy turned down a Hall of Fame induction from the company earlier this month. Now, fans are waiting for his next big move in pro wrestling, with many thinking he'll join his brother in AEW. During an interview with Jared Myers, Jeff made it known that he will be joining the promotion, as he said, "I'm going to AEW. It's so exciting. I'm so nervous and excited." In the meantime, the Hardy Boys will be reuniting on March 12th, and after that, Jeff will be free to sign with another company, since that will be the end of his 90-day non-compete clause from WWE. During that interview, Jeff would also reveal the last straw that led to him leaving WWE. "They released me and tried to make me go to rehab, but I'm just so over it. My dream match was with Roman Reigns. Talked about that many times, but then I said, so you want me to go away for like 28 days just to save my job? No. You know what's important to me? Family. My 2 daughters, my wife, they believe in me. Forget WWE, man. It's like a private, personal thing. I'm not going to go to rehab. If they believe in me, that's all that matters. My wife and my 2 girls." While the Retribution faction would not work out for those a part of the group, former WWE star Shane Thorne noted on the Two-Man Power Trip podcast that they suggested many names for a potential leader. So that was the thing. We pitched ideas to have a lot of different people as the leader. We wanted Shane McMahon or Edge or just someone higher, as high as possible. We went as high as possible. We pitched for Vince to be the leader as well. We went as high as possible for who the leader would be. So we wanted to be attached to one of the main characters. And I guess at the start we were. We were doing stuff with Bray Wyatt and Hurt Business, which you know was Bobby Lashley, so in some breaking news from PW Insider, Cesaro has apparently been released from WWE. With it said, "We were told the 2 sides had been in negotiations but had not come to terms on a new agreement. This would be a case of his contract expiring, so there would be no 90-day non-compete." Cesaro had been slated to be at tomorrow's SmackDown taping in Hershey, Pennsylvania, but will obviously no longer be there. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.